Today we're going to demonstrate the use of the VMware vSphere client application. This can be used to automate such tasks as starting up and shutting down VMs using the VMware vSphere server. A typical use case for this would be to set up a test scenario or a test lab consisting of virtual machines that would then be used as part of an overall test. So let's start up a VMware vSphere client session. As you can see, we've defined a session profile of session type VMware vSphere client. The connection information consists of the server connectivity and the credentials used to connect to it. So let's start it. And we see here the session window. Currently we're in a disconnected state, so let's connect by clicking on this button. And now we have properly connected. We can see that we have a list of VMs here that have been defined, and now we can select one and take a look at the information. Here we see that this VM is a Windows 7 VM. It's currently powered off. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Do so by clicking on this button. You can see the status bar here describes what's going on. Now we can see that the VM has been powered on. The status has changed in this tree, and we also see that we can power it off or suspend it, and also the status is reflected here. This table of recent tasks tells us a list of things that we have done on the VMs and what the status is. So let's take a look at some of the other things that we can do. For example, we can click on the Tasks and Events tab and take a look at what messages the vSphere server has sent to us. So here we can see that the vSphere server has told us that this VM is powered on. But we also have some warning messages. For example, the virtual device, the hard disk virtual device is not connected. So that's something that we can take care of later. But basically anything that has gone wrong with the vSphere server in regards to the VM that we're working with will be shown in this tab. We can see here that the information about the VM has been updated to reflect how much memory it's actually using on the host and on the guest operating system. So you'll see that we have a template flag here. The concept of templates is very useful. You can basically take any VM that you've already defined and mark it as a template so that you can create more VMs out of that one template VM. So this would be useful if you're essentially cloning a whole set of virtual machines that have basically the same configuration. Now it should be said that the VMware vSphere client application cannot be used to actually install an operating system on the VM. So that would have to be done beforehand using VMware's own client so that you can have access to a console that will allow you to actually install and set up the operating system. Fanfare's VMware vSphere client can be used for automating the tasks of working with existing VMs, such as starting them up, powering them off, suspending them, taking snapshots of their current state, reverting to a previous snapshot, and activities like that that will help you in managing the set of devices you need for your testing scenarios. So now let's shut down this VM. Just click on the power off button and the VM will power off. And the last step that you can take is to disconnect from vSphere server. So let's take a look at the kinds of things that are captured as a result of this. Let's take a look at our last session here, the one that we just captured. So you can see that we have important steps like obtaining the information about the VM we've selected, powering it off, then powering it on, and then powering it off again. So we can create a test case out of this. Let's just accept the defaults for this. And you'll see that we have a new test case for our vSphere activities. At this point, you could decide to start other sessions, for example, a telnet session to get into that VM, or SSH, or VNC, or whatever other types of sessions you want to use in order to control that VM. Or you may decide to start sessions to other entities within your test case scenario, for example, traffic generators or other DUTs that you want to work with. And when that all is done, you can continue with powering it off. So that's a quick summary of Fanfare's VMware vSphere client application. Thank you.